Shines.
Ease into it. There you go.
We're Cool Runnings, man. Sweat Equity Podcast. I'm your host, Law Smith, sitting to my right, your left, on your screen if you're watching.
Nobody does, apparently.
We're huge on LinkedIn, man. Eric Redinger.
Oh my God. You did it.
I like mispronouncing it, but I realized that joke. Now people that listen probably think that's your last name.
Right. Oh, you're Eric Redinger.
We're Sweat Equity Podcast and streaming show, pragmatic entrepreneurial advice with 1,000% more dick jokes. Number one arbitrated business comedy podcast.
I like how you didn't change it from Arbitron to arbitrated.
Arbitrated? Arbitron rated?
You said arbitrated, and I was like,
Did
nope,
I?
still applies. Yeah.
Man, my ADD is off the chain this morning. Want to drop a little fun fact? Did you know if you sign up for TikTok, they make you instantly famous? That is why it's so addictive.
Yeah.
You sign up for an account, your first post gets the most reach out there, and then they got you.
Oh, well, that... Okay, we'll talk about that
Yeah.
after the ads.
So,
Okay.
I want to drop some. I want to do some added value right at the top. That's what I'm trying to do in the rundown now. Hey, listen to us on iTunes, Apple Podcast app, Spotify, Laughable. Watch us on YouTube. We got no views over there. Facebook, as we're doing this live on a Monday morning.
IGTV.
IGTV. Turn that phone horizontally to watch the whole episode if you like. We're on Vimeo. We're big in the business stuff. Vimeo, LinkedIn, hit us up there. Hey, you want to support the show? Subscribe, rate, review. That's the cheat code to get us up the rankings. It'd be so awesome if we could just get in the business top ranking one day, because we're not supposed to be there. Another way to support the show? Our sponsors, ExpressVPN. Try expressvpn.com/sweat. Get you 3 months free off an annual plan. What's ExpressVPN?
What?
Anonymized internet searching. You can go on other countries' VPNs and you can watch The Office in whatever, 30 other countries it's on in Netflix over there.
Yeah.
There's a whole other world of
Definitely
content.
funny, too.
We don't even know. I'm sure the Pakistani one's really funny.
What?
Try expressvpn.com/sweat. Gets 3 months free off an annual plan. 3 months free. No more worrying about your internet history when you die, because it'll all be wiped away anyway.
As long as you're using ExpressVPN.
Yeah, you have to be using tryexpressvpn.com/sweat is the promo code that gets you the hookup. And yeah, the VPNs used to be really slow. This one is the real deal, Holyfield.
Ooh.
Yeah, our other sponsor, Grasshopper. Try grasshopper.com/sweat. Get you $75 off an annual plan for a scalable business phone line. Don't have a Google Voice number like a jabroni. Don't have your cell phone go right to your phone. I had that this morning. You heard it.
I heard it. It was
the guy
awkward.
just answered hello, and I was like, is this the company I'm calling? I was like, oh, this is your personal cell phone. Not good. Try grasshopper.com/sweat. Gets you $75 off an annual plan. Warby Parker, warbyparkertrial.com/sweat. Gets you 5 free pairs to try on at home. And I'm running out of time, so that's it.
All right.
Hit it up. Hotty toddy.
Oh.
What about
God
my
almighty.
sweat equity? Sweat equity. Sweat equity. My sweat equity. My sweat equity. Sweat equity. What about my sweat equity?
Ooh, feeling good.
Yeah?
Yeah, well, I thought a lot about our criticisms from our friend Bubba the Love Sponge.
Oh, yeah. We're friends now.
I guess we're friends.
I guess so.
We're gonna go into Thunderdome on Thursday as we record this on a Monday. But I keep thinking about it, and we needed a little. I think we needed a little recharge. Hate is good.
Yeah, no, even before he said that, I was like, I have been such a piece of shit with this. Like, I have not been bringing anything extra to the table when I've got the time to do it, and I haven't. And it's just like, why? It's something I love. Why am I not doing that?
Right.
It takes a kick in the nuts by Bubba and get it going.
Yeah,
Not like it's better now. I didn't do anything different, but I'm just saying I now have some motivation.
Well, I put this in it's not a hobby really. It's a thing that we get a lot of indirect value out of. We talked
Direct
about
value too.
Direct value, but a lot of indirect value. Like it makes me research things throughout the week because I'm gonna have to talk about new stuff or interview someone.
Sure.
Now I'm acting like I do a lot of pre-production. That's the thing I need to work on a little bit more.
Yeah.
And getting maybe some higher end guests. Not to say that our previous guests before are,
Can always do
interesting,
better.
but I'm saying like, let's just try to ramp it up. Even the branding, we've talked about doing a little bit of the updating. You want to
Yeah.
go 70s mode? The more I thought about it, I don't know. I kind of want to just keep.
I didn't say 70s. What?
Well, you showed me. What was the one you showed me? You showed me some like.
I don't recall, honestly.
We had a couple adult beverages.
I was
the time you
saying,
showed.
I thought maybe just classy black and white. Like we go super
Oh
classy
no,
with it.
that's how we started actually.
It was more like a weird forest man thing.
No,
with axes.
before that, way
Oh.
before your time, way before you even came on as a guest. By the way, Wim Hof is kind of the reason we started working together. I figured that out.
Yeah, I know.
So you came on as a guest a long time ago,
Yeah.
and then it was like, what are you doing? And you told me about Wim Hof, but
Yeah, I came in to talk about Wim Hof.
and then I was like, what are you doing, dude? And then it's been like 4 years, I think. But I was talking to our friend. We went over her house on Saturday night to do a Wim Hof party. And,
Yeah.
and
I liked it. I had a great time.
no, I'm not too cool for school for Wim Hof. I guess explain what the Wim Hof
Well,
stuff. It killed your allergies, is what I think's wildly interesting.
Oh, well, the Wim Hof, I mean, I've talked about the Wim Hof technique so much, but I mean,
Just in
just
case anybody's
anybody
new
who's
to
not
it.
familiar, it's a combination of breathing exercises and cold exposure and yoga that if you stick to it, it absolutely will help your immune system in terms of like soreness and like if you work out a lot and you do an ice bath once a week, like I used to get hurt all the time at the gym and I don't really get yoinked up like you'll just do it like once every 6 months. You'll get your shoulder yoinked,
Bro,
and
you're
you got like a
yoinked.
thing. It doesn't really happen that often anymore.
Swollen yoinked.
I'm gonna jinx myself and I'll be in a wheelchair tomorrow. But your friend independently wanted to do a Wim Hof party, invited you.
She's a little bit of a, let's say, spiritual gal.
Sure.
Yeah. One that there's like, we walk in, there's incense and stuff.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
That kind of gal.
It
Very
was-
sweet.
It was
and-
really
yeah.
refreshing.
It was her
a
birthday.
Exactly. It was her birthday.
That's
and
what she
wanted
wanted
to
to
have
do.
her friends come over and join her in this sort of thing. And I thought it was great. Like 2 years ago, I was trying to get people together to just teach them about it just because, I mean, I'm a huge proponent. Everybody should be doing this. It's insane. It takes 15 minutes a day to breathe. Like, just do it and you'll feel better.
So there's a Wim Hof app. I want to kind of give that call to action. We don't get paid by him.
Right.
I wish. But there's a Wim Hof app that anybody can kind of download. I'm sure they have like a freemium part to it where the
Yeah.
free version, I think, is just
The free
good
everything
enough.
you
There's
need.
YouTube
Yeah.
videos.
Yeah, it's all out. Trust me, it's not rocket science. Like, it's not that hard to figure out, but it's just diligence.
Yeah, and it's like I know I need to stretch a little bit, a couple times throughout the day. I used to be good at that. I've started to get back on that again. I find I have more energy. I may need to add this into there. Just start doing it for maybe 5 minutes.
It's the first thing I do every day. It's just like a nice reset. It's a nice calming situation. It's somewhat meditative if you want it to be. But
Do you want to give a little sample? Can you? Without, if you're driving, maybe
you
don't
can't
try
do it
this
while you're driving.
driving.
I mean, yeah, it's a
If you're
relaxation
jogging,
situation.
it might mess you up. Yeah.
So it's meant to be relaxing. The idea is that you breathe in as fully as you can without straining. You don't want to like start tensing and doing all that. You just let your lungs naturally fill up with air as much as they can and just let a little bit out enough so that you can kind of increase that intake again. And you do that 30 to 40 times. And then on that last inhale,
30 to 40 times.
Yeah.
That's the part I forgot about.
well, it's a cycle. So you'll do those breaths deep, and then one last deep one, and then you exhale completely, and you hold your breath for as long as you can. until you feel uncomfortable and just feel like you need to breathe. That's the second part of the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Then you inhale and hold that for 10 to 15 seconds, and that's when you'll start to feel high. And then you start it again. And then the more you do that, after 3 or 4 rounds, your hands will be tingling. You'll feel great. Like, it is an absolute, like, it's something that I guarantee you, if you're freaking out and you sit there and you do it properly, you will be calmer at the end of it, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems obvious, but some people have a hard time getting there and just being able to not just be in the stink of just anxiety and stress. It's hard.
What does this have to do with entrepreneurship, business, professional kind of tips? Here's where it kind of aligns with that. There's a lot of people working from home. There's a lot of people stressed, anxiety. You got to figure out these little tricks, you know, when shit's hitting the fan, generally in life. But I think we're now kind of looking at a lot of wellness stuff with bigger companies because, you know, either they want to look like they're trying to do it, as like, look at us.
Yeah.
Or they really see the value of it. I think PwC is a huge company that I know spends a lot of effort in their like HR and their programs for their employees. They got a lot of employees and they treat them so well. Like, by far, from a huge business standpoint, corporate, they're doing it really well.
Yeah.
Like that I think part of them is an accounting firm, I believe. So I think they've figured out the numbers that it's probably coming back into less churn of employees, better work out of the employees, especially when everybody's trying to pivot and do this work from home life. And I'm not the best at just 100% work from home. I need that environment around me. I'm realizing that throughout the quar.
You keep showing up over here.
Yeah.
I'm here to work.
I'm here to work, man. Here to do work. Whatever it is, though. Whatever that part is. But even just feeling good about, like, things are starting to open up in Florida, it feels like. I went for a jog last night and, like, probably ran by, 300 people walking around downtown. Maybe 5% are wearing masks. Like,
I mean,
every place was bumping.
In relation to COVID, Wim Hof method, I mean, they're starting to see markers where people dying of coronavirus have low oxygen levels in their blood. I mean, another thing that seems obvious, but like what you're doing with the Wim Hof method is you're increasing your oxygen levels so that you can hold your breath longer and trick your body into thinking you're dying. It's like the more we hear about it, I mean, it's just such a fix-all, in my opinion. Like, for entrepreneurs who everything relies on them, if they're the ones, like, they're the man,
Yep.
and they have nobody, like you and I have both been. What happens when you get sick and you can't get out of bed? Like, nothing. You gotta, like, that has to be your number one thing, because it's like you can't just count on your genes to not get sick, and, you know, God forbid you have something bad happen, you know, car accident or whatever. But
it's proactive maintenance, partly, but it can help you in a pinch. You know, if you're about to give a presentation, a lot of people freak out about that, and like,
sure, yeah,
used to be the old trope of like the paper bag. You know,
there's something to that. I mean, not.
They say smokers, though, they get the breaks to go smoke in a weird way. They're doing a deep breathing exercise, even though they're putting in a lot of smoke and stuff. They say there's something to that break they take.
Well, I don't know about the smoking.
Full of shit that they're pulling in their lungs.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the nicotine itself could be causing a calming effect.
But they're away from the office. I think that's the other part.
Sure,
like, you go breathe. You're gonna go on a breathing break in one sense.
Yeah.
Away from the building, because now all smokers are like, oh, you go in the alley next to the dumpster and do it.
Go in your shame spot.
Right.
You sit there and think about what you're doing.
I would love to walk into an old school Mad Men office where everybody's just smoking cigarettes nonstop. I think that would be refreshing for some reason.
No, it's
ironically
30 seconds you'd be like, oh my God. Yeah, I'm out of here. I can't do it.
I grew up in a house of cigar smoke, so it's kind of like my dad used to smoke them inside, and so
I know, but
so, like,
even when you're away from it, it doesn't like.
No, it's like a trigger memory or sensory for me.
Oh, you're fond of the smell.
A little bit. I think
dad.
cigarette smell can smell good. Cigar smell definitely. Coffee.
That's different.
All these white people things.
Cigarettes are gnarly, dude. That's can't do it.
I don't know. There's something about what people used to do to cover up cigarette smoke when they smoked indoors, like in the 90s. There's some smell I can't put my finger on it
I don't know.
that I like.
It's always just that smell plus a little bit of cigarette smoke.
So it was funny.
It's never gone completely.
It was funny. Everybody in the room was cool. It was like I only knew the birthday girl. It was her place, and I didn't know the 9 or 12 other people there. So we were kind of fish out of water coming in there with a little bro energy.
Yeah.
Because like one
Everybody
guy's wearing
was
a
dressed-
pashmina, like
Yeah, and we were
okay.
in bathing suits and tank tops.
Right, white trash in it. It was Saturday night.
Sure, so
And
of course we're wearing bathing suits.
This was going to be like a little hop, and then we are going to go watch the Stanley Cup game. And so it was like, okay, we'll just pop over here, say what's up, do this. Mm-hmm. And I guess I built you up as a Wim Hof celebrity to our friend. And so she was pumped, and man, it was kind of cool.
I loved it, man. I love anybody that's willing to just sit there and just try something without judgment and just let it. I'm not gonna push bullshit on people. Like this thing is like not even woo woo. You can make it woo woo as much as you want, but it's literally they're taking the man and sticking him in a science lab and showing results with these things. So it's not like there's not measurable, obvious benefits to it. It's like, but you can also make it a nice spiritual gathering, which is what it was. I mean,
Yeah.
it was really nice and just relaxing.
It was cool. It was definitely.
I'm thankful that they let me, that she wanted me to do it. It was nice. I forget that I like to do that and share it with people.
Yeah, I was hoping that would maybe fire you up to do those random.
Yeah, kind of
meetups like
did.
that. Yeah.
Got a big empty house now. Maybe do it here.
Yeah, it's one of those things where everybody's super nice to the point where you're almost like, what is this going to be a cult? I kept making a joke that
You're gonna cook me and eat me.
this is how you do a startup cult.
Yeah.
It's like you start it this way. But
I do need to post that video. Actually, I did take a video of everybody breathing.
I had church giggles like fucking crazy.
I was waiting for you to rip a fart, is what I thought you were
Oh,
gonna do.
no.
You had a look on your face like it's coming.
I looked at over at our third buddy that was there who completely didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
And was like, ready for the game. And like, I had money on the game. And so he's like, come on, man, it's starting.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? Why don't we start on time? Like so that like unintentional, like sitcom-y, like
Talk about fish out
fish
of
out of
water.
water shit where he's like, almost like,
Yeah.
and then like, no, it's cool. I'll do it. I'm doing it. This is great. Like
Yeah.
that kind of shit. And so
Love you, AJ.
and I was
My
playing
brother.
footsie with him too. Because
I didn't see that.
He doesn't like. I don't think he likes the gay jokes, so it made me laugh even more. And then
Yeah, but he doesn't like them for the different reason because they're not funny. That's why. That's why I don't like them. If you have better material,
in a setting
different.
that's super quiet, and it's very just
Sure.
like
I get it.
harmonized, and we're all kind of breathing as one, in a way.
Right, but you're busy dicking around with his feet.
Before we started, it was like,
okay.
let's everybody get their spot. I was told to lay down. I didn't really get a choice.
Yeah.
And then I had such church giggles. I had to like get into that pigeon yoga pose that hurts, the hip flexor one, to
Yeah.
like have something like some people like pinch themselves sometimes to stop shit. I had to like do that and just alternate.
You could have just laughed.
No, it would have. I was like,
You think you weren't the only person? There was another girl there who was laughing in my face.
oh, I know.
About it. And I was like, it's
could-
fine. Like, I
could
don't
hear her
care.
too, and I'm like, I'm on her level.
Well, she's like turning away, like she's embarrassed. I'm like, I don't care. Like, you could, whatever comes out, comes out. If you think this is the stupidest shit ever, fine.
I didn't want to
But
ruin
I'm
it.
not gonna sit there and try and convince you.
I didn't want to ruin it for anybody else in the room and think that I didn't want anybody to go, well, he thinks he's too cool for this or something.
Right.
So I'm trying to be sensitive to the whole thing.
And the last thing I want to do is be like, hey,
yeah,
let's take this serious.
that'd
No
be
laughing.
That I did that with my
Give me
my
14
2-year-old
push-ups.
daughter when we were doing yoga every day when they weren't in school. The spring when the COVID era, they couldn't go to school, and I remember like how funny it was that at one point I was getting mad and like totally breaking like everything that
Opposite of
yoga's
yoga,
for. I'm
yeah.
like, get off me.
Yeah.
This is really hard, guys. Like,
yeah.
both of my kids are trying to jump on me and they think it's funny.
Yeah.
And I remember just like having a Will Ferrell, like absurd anger out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But I'm not flexible, so it hurts. Anyway, I thought that was
You need to
interesting.
prioritize that, buddy.
What?
Flexibility.
I know. Look, these are the things we know. This is kind of what the show's about a little bit. Anybody listening kind of knows generally probably what they need to do for themselves to be a better entrepreneur or that person. I really think about, when I think about our audience, I think about the person working full time and then doing another basically like part-time, full-time job to get the thing they want to do going.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of our age group now really is either, or I think a lot of people all have like some side thing going on.
Right.
Be it an Etsy store, be it, I see more hedging.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And
they should. I mean, nobody wants to work for anybody else, really, if they could. If they're inserted into a position where it's
I kind of like where I'm at with running an agency and then being just a hired gun for another one. It is kind of nice.
Yes, but
it's treated as if I'm running my own thing. Basically.
Right. That's not what. It's more like being under the thumb, under the control of somebody else's schedule that's been put on you, that sort of thing, where you're not really like dictating the terms.
Well, when I do contract work on the side now, and we're starting everything up, I tell them, here's how I like to be project managed. So I'm kind of telling them how to manage me in a way. Just a short thing. I did it last week, and they're like, whoa, no one's ever told it. I'm like,
Nobody ever told us to spank them before.
no, here's how I like to work. I'll have deadlines. I may get it done earlier. It may be right before, but I'll get them done.
Just don't bother me about it.
No, I go, micromanagement me is not going to work, especially when I'm trying to educate a lot of digital at the same time.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of like, I don't know, you're the expert kind of stuff. But I go, but you are in an agency client relationship, call it, or any working relationship. I think it's good, even if you're the subordinate in it, to go, here's the best way I work. And they might go, here's how I kind of manage, and let's find a middle ground.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't do that.
Right. A lot of people are not aware of how best to be managed or to manage. Like, they don't necessarily know how to manage it. Because, like, I'm a manager. It's like, well, you're managing how many different personalities that are all different. Like, you might be horrible at managing one person, but good at the rest or something.
Right.
It's just like variability is so much.
Yeah, and sometimes you're in a position where you're the specialist and the generalist that manages in the general position, but you're also doing specialist work. So a lot of people, it's hard to toggle back and forth. There's stuff like that. I think managing like sense of humor or taste in music is very like everybody thinks they've got it. They've got it. They're good. It's just whatever the way I do it without really working on it sometimes.
Have you ever heard anybody say I'm not funny? Say those words out loud?
I've heard that. But I haven't heard.
Not me personally. I'm saying like any individual.
Yeah.
You like me,
that
right?
too.
You like me, right?
No, I've heard people say I'm not funny at all. Like I've definitely heard that.
I can't remember ever hearing anybody
my boss
says
that. She's like, I'm not funny, but she.
Oh, well, she's not funny though.
She is in an unintentional way.
Karen, you're hilarious.
She is. I've told her she is. She doesn't know it in that thing of like she's not pushing for it.
Right.
She's very quirky and like, she gets excited like we do about potential projects and stuff, and it's fun to see that energy and stuff in a good way. I would say like, but she's like, I'm not intentionally funny. Like I can't. And she has a good sense of humor though. So she has like, I say high comedy, like.
Yeah.
What would you call it? Acumen. But I would say there's a lot of people that will tell you they're not funny at all, but they also don't know how bad like the shit they laugh at's not that funny.
Right. Everybody has a good
at the same time, you're an asshole if you say that. So it's like
yeah.
So look.
Well, sense of humor. It's like if you laugh,
if you think Bud Light commercials,
if you laugh,
are
you have a
good,
sense of humor.
right? So that's what I'm saying. Like,
It's like the only people who don't laugh are the ones that don't think they have a good sense of humor.
right. Yeah. No, you get a lot of this when you start doing stand up a lot more, and people start introducing you that you do stand up or at a party or something. Yeah. That's where you're really gonna hit that small talk of like, oh, well, tell me a joke, and then you're like, nah,
no.
And I don't. 12 years of doing this, I still don't have a good line to say back. I'm
Really?
I'm like, I try to.
A guy awkwardly walks into a party.
No, I just say like.
And then some jackass, right? Stay with me here. Some jackass wearing a stupid fight, and then you describe him perfectly and you make fun of him the whole time. You just do the whole joke.
I've done that. It doesn't work. It comes off as like, hey, man. A lot of people don't want to be roasted.
Well, so is also
they don't get that. That's like
entertain me.
I know they don't get that.
So condescending.
They don't look. Most people are checked out. They're not. They're just blurting out whatever they're blurting out, right? And they're not driving in the car.
Give me money.
They're not driving in the car home like, oh man, I shouldn't have said that.
Right.
Like even if you didn't roast battle and back. I'm just saying like, it'll come up and I just go, I don't know. I'm not like your favorite comic. Because that's what they're thinking. Do you like Jeff Foxworthy? And I go, I love Jeff Foxworthy. I'm not like him at all. Yeah. Except I say y'all. Maybe that, and we're both, I guess, computer nerds.
I mean, you got to come up with something, dude. People are going to just be like, that guy?
You know, I'm
the
better,
one who was like,
I'm better conversationally. Like, I'll go, I want to know about you and try to flip it back on them.
Sure.
And then I'll go, I'm more, I think I'm conversationally funny, so we'll see. And then let me hear about you, and I'll try to just, I'd rather hear about someone else. Anyway.
Yeah. Maybe just have a question ready to go to ask them back.
That's it. Jordan Harbinger style. What up, dog? When are you coming on, Harbinger?
I'll reach out. He's my boy.
Yeah. How much do we have to
DoorDash
pay for his charity for him to come on the podcast?
I don't remember, but he does do that. I don't think it was that much. Maybe I'll look it up.
Okay.
But yeah.
It's a write-off.
It's actually, I like that idea.
We didn't, knee-jerk, we don't like it, but what he's doing is filtering out a lot of jabronis.
Sure. I mean, I wouldn't do it if he hadn't like randomly reached out to me and kept talking back and forth with me like I'm like a real person.
If it's
real
him,
life human.
I bet it's him, but most people at his level, I would assume, have other people writing back and forth to people, Dane Cook style.
Just don't ruin it for me.
No. I have men crushes on many broadcasters, including all the way from Bubba the Love Sponge all the way to Jordan Harbinger, which I feel like it's the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so. That's a good call. What did I do? Let's go talk about a little bit more, buddy.
What?
I don't know. Why are you're doing your show's over posture?
No, I'm trying to. I didn't know if we wanted to flesh it. Oh, the last thing with the Wim Hof, the breathing party. No, my posture's changing because now I'm self-conscious about it, as we've been talking about.
Now I'm self-conscious.
Or you're on the saddle, man. That sex saddle needs to stay in the bedroom.
Yeah.
VR. Are you VRing and just like, ugh. I just think it'd be funny to walk in on someone looking at VR porn. I don't want to see any dick or anything. I just want to see them like, because VR always looks goofy when you're trying to you see someone on the outside playing it.
Oh God. I've got a solid 3.5 on VR jerking off.
They're doing mime space work.
Yeah.
It looks like you're in a box and I'm slashing something.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's dangerous. That's something I don't know if I ever want to uncork that bottle.
Yeah, good. You can't use mine. I mean,
no, that's like borrowing a fleshlight.
Right.
Yeah.
We're
buddies,
don't
but
touch it.
I don't need,
Don't touch it.
Yeah. Nothing in that world. That's your private Idaho. That's all your stuff.
Good, thank you.
The thing, the Wim Hof thing I was going to come back to, just the funny thing that happened. And this happens any gathering where everybody's a little bit vulnerable, but this is where I got church giggles where one guy is just like very, very sexual about his breathing. He's like,
sure. Which is fine.
Fine.
which is fine.
But I'm immature. I'm 10 years old, giggler.
But I almost said something because he was straining as he was doing it. And that was like, well, you can make those sex noises, just don't breathe in so hard and violently.
Or you could just not make the sex noises.
Trying to get people on board here with the Wim Hof thing.
I know, but I mean, chicks, all day. Fine. Do it all day.
Yeah, it was a little distracting.
It was extremely distracting. That was like there was like 5 things going on. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to I got to walk out of the room. I almost went outside. I was like, I'm going to go. And I had to pee really bad. So it was just like, oh, how long does this go? I was trying to mime over to you. What pointing to my watch.
And I was like, I don't know. And then I got kicked off for the video. They're like, just put
you got dismantled.
Like, could you put the video on? I was like, what video? What the hell are we talking about? I didn't make a video. Was I supposed to make a video? And it was just the Wim Hof guiding them through it. I think what they wanted me to say, fully in, fully out every time. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
But everybody in that room kind of individually entrepreneurial, like a lot of people were very like kind of professionally successful. I always like that crunchy group that's kind of got their business life together a little bit.
That was a great group.
The other thing now I'm going to double back to the management stuff. If you want an easy guide of like management philosophies, because I was going nuts trying to figure out, I didn't know this 3-4 years ago. Like, oh, we should have a work, a methodology, a work. God, I forget the term. Playbook. It's a philosophy, but there's a word for it that I can't pull up.
Mission statement.
It's like, just think work methodology or working philosophy. Like there's a bunch. If you go on Rike.com, they have
WRIKE.
Mm-hmm. They have kind of an easy cheat sheet of like 16 different ways to manage. And this could be managing yourself, honestly, because you might find that you work best in an agile, which is kind of how a lot of like digital people work, because there's just so many, unforeseen variables and, just such an education gap between clients and the digital like workers in the space. So I know that, but so most people work agile because that's just kind of a little bit sloppy, honestly. Yeah. And it's just like get shit done as it comes in, as you can, get as far as you can. Yeah. Waterfall is another method that
we're not gonna do all 16.
No. I'm trying, dude. I'm doing these off the dome, dude.
We're not going through all 16.
But a waterfall method to contrast is like I break everything into 3 phases if I'm trying to just like dumb guy kind of figure out how I'm going to do something. And
we're
like
up to 16 times 3,
so
40.
No, there's 16 different philosophies. I'm just saying like any project, be it, we were talking about building a bar or table outside, an hour ago before the show. And so like my head, I'd always try to break it up into 3 parts. Like, okay, I need to go kind of design it out or sketch it out. What do I need to go get? Then like phase 2 is like just a rough put it together. Phase 3 would be like,
That's interesting. Lacquering. You automatically divide everything up into 3s?
I try to train myself to do it because our friend Nick Snap, who was a productivity consultant and he's like an ops guy, he taught us that. I don't know if it's he came on when you were around. Before.
Yeah, I remember.
And so he said that's like a good.
Made me feel really dumb.
It's a good way
Only because he's really smart.
It's a good way to attack a lot of projects. And if you can get your mind to go there, anything where you're like, okay, I need to teach my kids how to ride a bike. Okay, so you can break everything up in 3.
That's interesting. I'm going to try it out.
Yeah.
Just because, when you have stuff that you don't necessarily know how you're going to attack it, maybe that could help in terms of just like
pre-production,
giving it like
pre-production, production,
bones.
Post-production.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you didn't know that's how I kind of see all this, like any project.
I zone out most of the time when you're jabbering on.
Well, the part that I suck at is just being like very like up to date on like details and like telling everybody else.
Yeah, you're in phase 1 of a whole lot of shit, waiting to move on. To
yeah,
phase 2.
well, look, if you look at life generally, you're gonna spin. I'm not a good multitasker. I can't do two things at the same time well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a plate spinner. I can start this plate when I'm at my best. I can spin this plate. I'm gonna go to the second plate, spin it. I'm gonna go to the third one, spin it. I'm gonna go back to the first one. And that's kind of how you should. That's kind of how I roll.
Yeah, I'm sort of like do the one thing, finish it all the way through. Like if I have a clear path to finishing, I'll do it, and then move on to the next thing. I just can't.
Typically, something comes up.
Yeah, no, for sure. But if I have if I have no reason not to finish it, I will, just because I can't not. Like it bothers me having it left out there, not finished. If I know what I'm doing, that's important.
Same, but at the same time, it's like, what are the things I can control? I'll get as far in this phase as I can, but I'm not. How much time can I spend spinning my wheels trying to like get this done? And even though it's some external thing that can't finish it.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a push and pull. It's like,
we need to get
how much time am I going to spend planning for this?
I want to get Nick back on here to talk about that stuff because it's been a while. Yeah. But thanks for tuning in.
Yeah,
Facebook Livers.
All right. See everybody later. See you Thursday. We'll
probably record one before.
Maybe we'll record Wednesday. We'll need to.
I've got a couple people. I'm trying to bring in some guests because we haven't had a guest in a minute.
Yeah. All right.
What about my sweat equity? Sweat equity. Sweat equity. My sweat equity. My sweat equity. Sweat equity. What about my sweat equity?